presentations. We have a proclamation this month for Autism Awareness Month. And I think Kathy's putting it up right now. I'm going to go ahead and read through it. And then as soon as we get, also for those that want to stay on the outside over there, there's viewing areas. The TVs are set up for what's going on inside of here. So it's kind of an overflow room. If it's too crowded in here, there's more room out there. But all right. Moving on with the City of Yelm Proclamation for Autism Awareness Month, April 2023. Whereas autism is a pervasive developmental disorder affecting the social, learning, and behavioral skills of those affected by it. And whereas autism was once thought to be a relatively rare disorder affecting only 1 in 10,000 people. And whereas as more and more health professionals become proficient in diagnosing autism, more children are being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, resulting in rates as high as 1 in 110 children nationally. And whereas while there is no cure for autism, it is well documented that if individuals with autism receive treatment early in their lives, it is often possible for those individuals to lead to significantly improved lives. Whereas autism affects the areas in the brain that regulates the pragmatics of speech and perceptions of others, affecting how people with autism assimilate and express verbal and nonverbal communications and sensory processing. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Mayor Joe DePeno, hereby recognize April as Autism Awareness Month in the City of Yelm, and strongly encourage all citizens to observe the month by learning about people with autism, their strengths, abilities, and the programs with which serves their needs. Signed, the City of Yelm, Washington, this 11th day of April, 2023. Moving on to public comment. Thank you for those who have written on Blue Sheet. If you haven't, please raise your hand. We can get you one. Other than that, we're going to be limiting to 3 minutes per person. And we'll start when you have 30 seconds left. You have to go ahead and raise your hand so you can notice, and then we'll go ahead and let you know, and we can keep it within 3 minutes. All right, we're going to start with LaDonna Hockaday. Please step up, state your name for the record, and say your piece.
LaDonna Hockaday. And I appreciate all the council and all of y'all. I have 2 businesses here. I have Lady L's Rainbow Ice Chips Candy, and I have Lady L's Promotions that I put on several events throughout the year. I put on 20 events last year throughout the surrounding areas. I'm down to 3 this year because I'm busy with other things in my life. And I thought I would add the Pride Festival. There's Pride Fest here in Yelm. And I've got a lot of support for that. I got over 60 vendors as it is right now. A lot of nonprofits too. And there's 2 different events here. I just want to explain to everyone because there's a lot of people that's got some misinformation that the drag show event is out in the open for everyone to see, and it's not. The event goes from 10 to 6, and that's in the park. The drag show starts at 8 inside the community center building, where you have to purchase a $20 ticket to see a G-rated show. It's not going to be provocative, no nudity, like a regular drag show that I used to do in the past, because my other shows are more for this is more child friendly. I've had several parents that feel like, and it is their right to bring their children to a drag show. That's their right to come to see it. You cannot take that right away from them, regardless of how you and I am not going to address any hate or acknowledge any hate because I'm not about hate. I love everyone unconditionally. And if you hate me or don't like me, that's okay. I still love you. And that's what I'm about. And so the drag show is going to be inside the community center at 8 o'clock. We have to purchase a ticket. And when I was doing that, I was taking into consideration of the families and the parents and the children because I didn't want to do that out in the open at the splash pad because I'm looking at the parents' feelings. They wouldn't want that. Some parents wouldn't. So I said, okay, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't even dare do that out there in the public. So that's why I'm doing it inside to where you have to purchase the ticket, and that's the parents' rights. You know, so many parents have told me their kids are so, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
You have 30 seconds. Hurry up, don't worry.
All right, next up, and sir, there's more seating out there. I don't know if there's any more seats out here. Out in the overflow in the
You want me to sit
lobby.
sit on the.
Anywhere besides the middle of the door though. Want to scoot over? Councilmember Blair,
We just clarify, when Kathy raises her hand, that just means you have 60 seconds left. That doesn't mean you have.
30 seconds.
30 seconds left. That doesn't mean you have to sit down immediately.
Yes, you have 30 more seconds if you had more to say.
did you want to finish up?
Okay.
Yeah, Councilmember Kaminsky.
So just to be clear, there's no age group restrictions on the indoor event.
Well, you know, I wanted to put, I had a friend change the flyer to 18 and older.
Okay.
But then when I did that, you wouldn't believe how many parents private messaged me because they were angry because their children watched RuPaul's Drag Race with them. So many parents here and their kids want to see a drag show and they feel that they should be able to bring their kids to see a drag show. And that's how it should be. If you don't want to come, don't come.
So it's just open age.
It's just open any age.
Thank you. Just wanted to check.
Any other questions for council? All right, moving on. Bunny Boyd, please come up to the podium, state your name and 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Bunny. Nice to meet everyone. So I was raised in a mile square town. And I was raised very conservatively. And one of the things that the Bible has to say is that that it isn't our business to judge others. I'm very in support of this drag event happening at Pride. This is monumental, and this is going to give some of the city members and some of the rural folks a space to exist where they haven't had one before. Like she said, you know, it's an event that you have to make an effort to see. It's not like it's going to be visible to anybody who doesn't want to, so there's no logical reason not to.
Thank you. Ela Hogel.
Hi, thank you. My name is Teal Hogel. I came here from Olympia tonight to stand in solidarity with the LGBTQ community here in Yelm, and especially our youth. I have the privilege every week of coming in and going to Yelm High School and co-facilitating a support group for over 30 LGBTQ kids. And oftentimes this is like this lunch period is the only time they have that is a safe place to be. Many of our students go through foster care, live in poverty, are caregiving their families, come from families struggling with drug abuse, and we also have students who have supportive families. Many of our students report and experience homophobia and transphobia at home, and all of them report it at school. Even though we have laws in place to protect for bathroom bills, many report not using the bathroom at school at all day long. And yet, I just want to say, like, these kids get a chance to check in and say a high of the week and a low of the week. And they get caught up in the highs of the week. I mean, they're just kids. They're having fun, you know, they just want a safe place to go to school at. They're looking forward to wrestling, to football, to theater, music. And they all have friends and they're seen for who they are. And even in the groups, there's different little cliques of friends, you know, so when they go back out, you know, this is the only time a week where they can all be together. And, you know, I can't say it's 100% safe, but our goal is to make it a safer space. And primarily the reason why is, I mean, the Trevor Project last year shared that In 2022, 45% of LGBTQ youth seriously considered suicide. LGBTQ youth who experience high social support from their family attempt suicide at half the rate of those who experience moderate to no support. Fewer than 1 in 3 trans and non-binary youth live in a gender affirming home. LGBTQ youth affirming schools reduce suicide rates significantly. 60% of LGBTQ youth cannot access mental health care when they request it.
10 seconds left, please.
14% of LGBTQ youth attempted suicide last year. I call on this council to support our children. Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Smith?
My understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that the community center has already been rented for this. This wasn't a decision the council made. I mean, anybody, any organization, my understanding can rent the community center. Barring, so. I just want to make sure. I know there was some talk on social media that the city was putting a kibosh. And I guess I don't know anything about that. I just kind of wanted to put that out there because I don't. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, these are, I mean, this is just public comment.
No, and I understand,
To address
but-
your question, yes, anyone can, community center, they just have to pay the deposit, just like anyone else.
Okay.
Any private individual, there's state agencies that can do it.
Okay, all right. I just wanted
That
to.
answer your question?
Yes, it does.
All right, John Reno, please.
How you guys doing today? All right, well, I'm on the other side of this topic. I moved from the city of Lacey to come out to the rural area of Yelm to get away from certain things that I didn't want my kids exposed to. My concern, and this, you just brought this up, ma'am, is so what's stopping a straight pride event or a Black Lives Matter event or some, I don't agree with any of this. I'm not saying that this, how far down do we take this? Where's the standard of saying, hey, we're not gonna allow our buildings to be used for this, because if we allow this, what's stopping KKK or another organization to come in here and use this community center? And they're gonna take this premise of saying, oh, well, so-and-so did this event for this. You know, you guys realize that there's people on both sides of this aisle that have opinions on this matter. And those opinions extremely differentiate between how they feel about this versus whatever the standard is. I mean, heck, this is the first time I've been in this building. You know, I live off Vale Road. I've never been involved like this before. My kid's right now all upset, you know, for whatever reason. He's 2 years old. I'm trying to raise them up the best I can. And as a parent, that's all we can do, right? And explaining to my kids that someone looks different or is acting different is something that I have to, you know, do as a father, right? My issue is, and again, maybe you guys can clear this up for me. Where's the line? How far down do we take this? How do we stop and go, hey, wait a minute? You know, Black Lives Matter is a different organization. Are they allowed to rent this building out? Are they allowed to rent this building out for an event? There.
Sure.
So
So
you're saying that you would allow Black Lives Matter to rent that venue?
you want to yield the rest of your time to me?
No. Okay, so my question back to you folks, and this is something else. If we're gonna sit back and have what we call a moral compass, and I will yield my time for this, where's that line at? Is it, where's your line at? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Councilmember Blair, then Hess.
I want to make something very clear. I don't have a problem with pride at all.
Right.
Me neither. Zero issue at all. I have family members that are part of that community. I have friends that are part of that community. I don't look at them different than any other person that I look at anyone else. There is a big, huge lie that if someone is conservative or Republican, they're supposedly against someone that's gay, lesbian, trans, whatever. There's zero truth in that. I'm speaking to people that are in the back that are looking at me right now. However, the reason why this is so controversial and people need to understand is it is not simple as someone doesn't want a drag show at the community center. The issue here, and I'm gonna make a statement here that the rest of this council is probably, some of the council may not agree with me, may or may not agree with me, staff may not, and half the people sitting out here may not. But there is no such thing as a kid-friendly drag show. And that is the only issue. I want to applause because I understand that there are people that disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. That is the greatest part about this country we live in, is everyone gets to have their own opinion.
Amen.
But my stance is there's no such thing as a kid-friendly drag show. Now, the people that are here on the opposite end of me and the gentleman standing here, that's all you need to understand. No one here hates you. No one here hates someone that's gay, lesbian, trans, or anything like that. The only issue we have on our end is we don't believe that kids should be at drag shows, and that's the end of it. That's the line.
Well, can I yield one more comment real quick? Is that possible, Mayor? Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we turn this up to a public vote? Can we sit up 30 minutes or 30 days from now?
We, the people, are in charge.
We, the people here we'd love to have a public vote on this, because I'm telling you right now, if you guys allow this to happen, there's all these other 8 organizations on both sides of the aisle that are gonna go, oh, cool, green light, I'm gonna use this building. You put it up to a public vote, and then you hear what the citizen's voice is. Plain and simple.
Last thought, sir.
That's it, sorry.
All right.
Yield back.
Thank you. Councilmember Hess?
Address your question of where's the morality line and and concern of Black Lives Matter, KKK, and all these other organizations coming to utilize the facility. The ACLU has fought for over 30 years for freedom of speech. The Supreme Court has said there is freedom of speech. And that freedom of speech is you can say what you want as long as you do not endanger, i.e. call fire in a theater. So in reference to what's the line of morality, next question we have to ask is whose morality? If you're going to go with the Catholic Church morality, a lot of you will not be allowed to do a lot of stuff. If you're going to go with the Mormon morality, a lot of you are not going to be allowed to do some of the stuff you do. If we go with the Islamic morality, oh, sorry, women will be wearing shawls and everything else like that. We live in a country that allows freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of expression. In reference to the event that's going on, it is occurring in a community center that the event holder is paid to utilize. That event holder has chosen their event and they can do that event. The morality line, I'm sorry, if you want to bring up morality, I want to know whose morality, because I will tell you, serving 25 years in the military, I fought long and hard to defend the US Constitution from enemies over and inside. And you know what? When you sit there and you start doing the morality, we can go toe to toe on that morality. If you don't want to go to the event, you don't go. If you want to protest outside, if you want to protest outside the event, as long as you follow the laws, you can protest outside the event. That is your freedom of speech. But the person, event organizer, has done everything legally to utilize a facility that is utilized for both private and public events. That's all I have to say about it right now.
Councilmember Crossman?
I'll say my piece about this issue. Some of y'all might shock some of y'all, but if you know me at all, you probably know where I fall with this. But also, you should know that I'm a strong believer in the Constitution of the United States, which protects people that I disagree with, things that I disagree with. So the community center is there, and we live in a great state of Washington, who our lawmakers don't see the Constitution the same, but I will still abide by that either way, no matter what they say. And I will defend people's rights to use that. There is no law when Washington State, so there's no law that says not any group can use that building, yes. If BLM, if KKK, if drag show, if the church down the street, if mom's group wants to use it, that building is open for that. It is their freedom, it's their right as an American citizen to use that, and I will defend that. I will not get that reciprocated to me, of course, and I accept that, and that's fine. I know how people are, but I will defend that right, and so there is nothing legally that we can say that such a group can't use that, as long as they're not doing anything illegal. So yeah, and then on that, if they're doing anything illegal, then the city is open up, of course, to liability for that. And it could cost the city a lot of money if something was to happen. So how that, and I would encourage the groups, LaDonia business, to do background checks on performers and such, because a lot of organizations do background checks when there's children involved. If that's your plan, I would try to mitigate any litigation, because that's the fear of people, is you're exposing children to pedophiles, and it's in a way for pedophiles. And if you don't believe that true, then you are sorely mistaken, because pedophiles don't care what you believe or who you are. They will work their way into every situation they can, and you can look at crime statistics to prove that point. I'm not saying that the drag show is full of pedophiles. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying it's a way for them to get in. And you have to protect yourself, just like every other organization does. So I would advise that, protect yourself as best you can, make sure nothing happens, because it will look bad upon you. But unfortunately, we as a council, there's nothing we can do we can't stop anybody from renting the community center that's not doing anything illegal.
We're gonna, hold on. If you want to speak, I think you're actually got a card, you're up next. I just want to remind council, you are responding to John Reno. So these questions and comments should be related to their comments. If you all want to say your piece, you're more than welcome to, and council reports and all
I
that.
appreciate you guys, by the way. Thank you for responding to me. Thank you.
Councilman Richardson.
Well, just first, I really appreciate everybody being here. I just want to give a reminder to when people speak, I don't want you to like confuse passion, anger. I don't want you to misinterpret loud tone or disapproval. Because we got to be careful too how we listen to each other and use tonality. But I do appreciate what I'm hearing, and I'm really just happy to hear it. Honestly, I don't know if you guys seen the movie Troy. No, Brad Pitt in that movie. That I watched that movie. Troy makes me question my sexuality. Good looking man right there. Good looking man. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. But I'm not gay. I'm not gay, right? But it's okay. But it's close. Because when I watch that movie, I'm teetering. But those are my thoughts. Those are my feelings that I can have. And that's what I think is the biggest thing we're protecting here is everybody's thoughts and feelings. I have a lot of LGBTQ friends and I love them to death. Some of them want to tell me, they say, Joe, I know you don't love me because you're Christian. And I go, what do you mean? They're like, Joe, I know you don't love me because I came out of the closet, you're still Christian. I said, no, I love you. And they said, well, I know you don't love me because you're Christian. And I was like, wait a second. So you can tell me how I think and feel inside? Well, yeah, I know. And then I looked at my friend and said, well, if you can do that, then I can tell you that you're not gay. And they looked at me, oh, no, I'll say it's the same thing. But here's the thing. What we need to protect more than anything is the imposition of thought. Is when we impose our thoughts and beliefs on others. And then no longer then do we have our freedoms. And I hear the thoughts and beliefs that you have, and I hear the thoughts and belief. And so where is that line? And again, do we even have to have a line? And so the question would be more than anything is where is the threat? And is there a threat? Or are we manufacturing a threat? Just things to consider. Because I saw Beauty and the Beast, one of my favorite movies, and then let's go get our pitchforks and our knives and our fire torches and let's go kill the beast. When the real beast was Gaston. And so we gotta really be careful how we talk to each other. And I love this, guys. I really do. I just want to throw a little reminder in there. And I know I make jokes, but I do that on purpose to get everybody to calm down and bring the tension down in the room before everybody gets upset. Because I can feel it rising. So when that water's about to boil over on the stove, you just gotta go. And it simmers down. So let's continue this conversation, but just be mindful of that.
Any other questions or comments from John from the council? Moving on to Scott Bannister, please step to the podium.
Yeah, I'm like that every day, brother.
Scott Bannister. I used to live here for 10 years. I am not against this young lady at all. I love everybody. I'm against the children being seeing this stuff and being exposed to it. We as adults can do what we will please. But I don't feel that we the people, our property should be allowed to allow events like that. And I understand the First Amendment. I'm totally for the Constitution. Everybody who knows me, they know who I am and what I stand for. That's why I have no hate or anything against this community. They think I've been getting some real hate mail. I'm not that way. I have family members that are gay. Or I shouldn't use that word. That lifestyle. I just don't feel that our property should be used to groom children. And if anybody thinks that this is not going on around the world, you lost your mind or you don't know what's going on. Because it's going on all over the world, man. I'm protective service. I know within the state, I know for a fact there is selling children because one of my family members went that way. So I know where all this goes. I just don't want the children to be affected because they're children and they're precious. That's what we are here for, is to reproduce, bring our children into this world and live godly lives. I don't feel that this is correct. That's my opinion. I just don't feel that it should be pushed in our face within our public property that we all pay for as we the people. Thank you.
Councilmember Hess.
Question for you, sir. You brought up stating that this should not be for the children, that it's very wrong, that there should be an age limit that will groom the children and everything else like that. A question for you is on TV. TV is there? That TV is a mind screw. It's been like that since we were little
Let's
children.
let Councilmember Hess.
My question for you is on TV, do we as a community, whether it's the local municipality, state or federal, all of a sudden put up a big thing that says you must prove an age to be able to watch RuPaul drag show or any show that might have a drag queen, LBGT or any other kind of discussion. When we have the internet, do we have anything that puts up a banner?
It's not something that people paid for.
Let's let him please speak, Scott.
Okay, you are correct about that, but in actuality, you did pay for the internet. Because when the internet was created, it was created by the federal government for. Yeah.
Councilmember Hess, could you ask your question to him, please?
My question is, sir, what grooming do you think is going to go on? And what is the problem with if the kids are seeing it on the internet and TV with their parents right beside them and accompanying them and explaining and having that open discussion with them? Although their parents you may not agree with the parents, but it's the parents' choice, as you said, their choice to have their beliefs and all. What they do within their own home is their prerogative, but out in the public property, with we the people pay for it, I have a problem with that. And that's my opinion, and I have that opinion. That's all I need to.
All right, any further questions for Mr. Bannister? Moving on to Harry Miller.
Yes.
Oh, Harry.
Yes.
I'm saying.
I love this. All right.
those of you who know what I do know that I am not opposed to grown people dressing up like somebody that they aren't. But for me, I'm specifically Santa Claus. But I appreciate the opportunity to kind of speak in this group. There were a lot of things going on and some pretty ugly things in response to what was going to happen in the community center. And so cooler heads have prevailed and said, come to the council meeting and air it, just like in a real democracy. So here we are. I encouraged as many people as I can to be here, whatever your position is. Come here in this public forum and express yourself. A lot of names are called, a lot of stuff is done, and it's always so unproductive, but anyway. There's a lot of pushback coming my direction on the venue, the content, and the fact that it's a public building. Well, I know legally, I'm not a scholar. I can't tell you yes or no, but the suitability of a drag show program, and given I have never attended one, but I've been around friends who have been involved in that, and there's a coarseness and a rude part of this thing, because part of the humor is all about this accentuated sexuality. And I think a lot of kids don't need that at an early age. And one of the things that I was curious about, and some of that's been exposed here, is how those decisions are made. Because I think somebody needs to have an idea what kind of content is going to go on, what expression is going to be there. Because you're not going to show up and monitor a program. You're going to assume that people are going to do the best for the community, for themselves and everybody else, and not get us in legal trouble. But there should be a face forward look at content and say, we need to know at least what's going on. And obviously there's a lot of difference of opinion here on what we like, what we don't like. It's been said that, hey, it's going to be, 18+ programming, everything's good. We've all been in that building. What are those garage doors made out of? It's all a glass wall. So it's not like you come in and you shut the door and you do your program, Seconds. Oh, wonderful. Okay, good. Anyway, as I look at part of this stuff, the gay pride thing that's in the park, that's totally separate from this. I find some things with the drag show stuff, because I get this stuff coming through me all the time. And it's like, it's pretty rude. And the Yelm culture is worth preserving, and the pride of the prairie should continue to be building up this town. But all those glass doors, I go, I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. All right, any other further public comments on this? Anything? Yes, sir.
I'd like to.
Why don't you go and step to the podium? You didn't fill out a form.
I did not.
Just state your name for the record. And
Chuck Rogers. My only concern was, there's some other states, Arkansas, Tennessee, Texas, they all say that drag shows are adult entertainment. I believe in this state, we have to be what, 18, 21. So that's where I'm at, is this adult entertainment? And if it is, and there's children in there, who's enforcing what? Generally, drag shows and stuff are in bars, nightclubs, and settings, and it's always adult entertainment stuff. So that's where I'm at. I mean, I don't know how far this show is going to go. There's been no explanation of it to the community. So that's just my comment. Is it against the law to have children in there? What kind of show is it? That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there any other questions, comments? Please state your name.
Hi, my name is Denise Madden. I've lived in this community for 46 years. I worked 28 years at Tim's Pharmacy. I've been to many drag shows. Drag shows are fun. They're entertaining. They are dress up with singing, dancing, comedy. I've never seen one that was sexually explicit or anything like that. Those are burlesque shows. They are not drag shows. This drag show should be happen at the community center. This is a community. We are all a community. We cannot say that people can't be allowed to use the community center because they're different than other people. Everyone should be able to use that community center. And like I said, I have been to so many drag shows. They are wonderful. They are fun. They are entertaining. They are part of our community. Thank you.
Councilmember Blair, do you have a comment?
I just want to clarify, I've been to a couple out with friends. And yeah, it was fun, but it definitely wasn't something for kids.
Well, it depends on where you go. If you're in a bar, it's different. This is a community center with people that are responsible and know there are going to be children there. So it's singing, dancing, and having fun.
Ma'am, I understand how your perspective of it, and I believe I understand LaDonna's intention here. I just understand what people view it as. When I-
Perception is a lot different. Than what
Hold
really-
on, you guys, is there a question for her, or is there a comment? It's been a back and forth.
It wasn't meant to be a back and forth.
Okay, final comments, please.
I feel like it's just gonna keep going back and forth, so.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Hess?
After listening, I do have a question for Miss LaDonna.
This isn't for addressing her at this
No,
point.
no, no, it's a question for her.
Again, this isn't for her, though. This is for the last speaker that has done it. Is there any questions for this last speaker? Otherwise, we can go ahead and let you do that during your council.
Okay, no problem, I can wait.
Any other questions for this last commenter? Is there anyone else in the public that wishes to speak? Yes, sir. Please send to the podium. Say your name and.
My name's Tony Graham. I've been in the community for about 32 years. Moved from Tacoma. I don't agree with this. Everybody has a great point. But I want to retouch on Harry's point that the entire center is glass. So what are we going to do when the parents of children that don't agree with this want to go to the park? Whatever it is, at any given time of the day, I don't care what it is, and have to explain what's going on inside, whether it's kid friendly or not, and it's not. How are we going to protect them? How are we going to protect those individuals who are using a public park and now have to be subjected to this type of behavior? Anybody?
I'll address that real quickly. From what I've heard from the organizer, there will be the windows will be covered. So the public from the outside won't be able to see in. So that's the biggest thing.
Mayor,
Absolutely. And
why does it have to be covered?
Exactly.
you're asking, you don't want to
I
see it.
understand.
That's
I'm-
part of the reason it doesn't have to be, but they are choosing to do that to
Okay,
address some of that. It sounds like.
they can come back up and answer the question. Why are they doing that? To protect anything from what somebody should be able to look into a public building or go inside, whatever it is. Why are they covering it up? Shouldn't be any need for that if they're not hiding anything.
You wanna see it, you don't wanna see it.
Hold on, let them.
Exactly.
So this is a morality issue. It's a depravity issue. That's my thoughts. These aren't godly acts. Any way you look at it. It's entertainment, I'll give them that, freedom of speech, no problem, I have no problem with that. Another question is that they can address or answer, why in a public building? Why not a private venue somewhere? I'll yield the time.
Thank you. Is there any other questions, comments for the last speaker from the council? All right, is there any further questions from the public? Comments? All righty. Anyone on Zoom wishes to testify?
I don't see anyone raising their hands.
All right, we will move on to the consent agenda. Item 5. We have the March 28, 2023 and April 4th, 2023 meeting minutes. Councilmember Hess.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as
Second.
Second by Councilmember Crossman. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Under new business, we have the 2023 Lodging Tax Advisory Committee Award recommendations. Kathy, do you want to go and brief council on this one?
Yes. So we reviewed this at our last study session, and we went over, there were a couple of questions that I didn't prepare a presentation because we did go through that And also the slides were included in the council packet that was posted for the public. There was a question about the RCW, whether or not council can change the amount. I did include the RCW in the packet, so the council cannot change the amount. So the package that's before you, council would approve the whole package or deny the package. And if that was the case, it would go back to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee for reconsideration. And then also there was somebody asked for a summary of the 2022 events, and so that was also included in your packets. Other than that, I don't have any additional, anybody has any other questions?
Councilmember Hess.
Ms. Lindmeyer, the one question that I'd asked about was, I understand that the Prairie Hotel pays into it because it's a lodge, it is a lodge, but there are also bed and breakfasts and Airbnb. And I'd ask, do those pay into the system or not?
Thank you for that. Our finance director, Stephanie Dye, she's not here, she's out of town right now, but she is checking into that. They are required to pay into it, the Airbnbs and also the bed and breakfast. And so she was looking into whether or not we've received any revenues from them. You have to have certain accesses to be able to get that information. Not anybody can just get, that information. So she was looking to see if that's information that she is able to get. So they are required to pay into it. They're supposed to pay into it. And I just can't answer.
No,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Councilmember Crossman.
So this one, and same question for item B, it's all or none. You can't amend like, okay, I don't want this line item. Okay, thank you.
If council wishes to change it or alter it, they can recommend it and push it back to the LTAC committee, but they either have to approve it as a whole or deny it as a whole. Other questions, comments? Councilmember Hess.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 2023 Lodging Tax Advisory Committee award recommendation in the amount of $24,500 as presented during the study session and within our packet.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kaminsky. Is there any further discussion by the council? We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote for this. Starting with Councilmember Blair, how do you vote?
No.
Councilmember Richardson,
Yes.
Councilmember Crossman,
No.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Hess,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to new business. Item B, 2023 Yelm Beautification Grant Award recommendations. Kathy, would you please brief the council on this one?
Similar situation. We did review this in depth at the study session and answered questions. The one question, well, there's two questions that came up at the study session is the one for the sprinkler system is if there was reclaimed water available, and our public services director did check into that. It's not close enough to the property for them to be able to connect to. And then the other question was, did the person requesting the money have to be a property owner? And the application states that they do not have to be a property owner, but they have to get permission from the property owner, and that's responsibility lies with the person to make sure they have, permission from the property owner.
Councilmember Hess.
Director Colt, in reference to the request on the purple line, is it that they are blocks away or miles away?
Blocks away, so 3 blocks. So the purple line runs down Stevens Street there, and they're 3 blocks down from that.
Okay, and if we, through maintenance and all, work on improving that, would it be possible to, in the future, expand that purple line down to them and then assist that church by allowing the purple line to connect to? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Councilmember Kaminsky.
I'd like to move to approve the 2023 Yelm Beautification.
I'd like to second.
Second by Councilmember Brooks. Is there any further discussion by council? Councilmember Blair.
When we first put this through, we addressed this during the study session, but I want to say it now. I was under the assumption that we excluded HOAs from this. So because of that, I'm not in favor of throwing tax dollars at HOAs. I'm voting yes. One of these applications is an HOA.
Any further discussion? Righty, We'll go in, there's been a motion second, we'll go and do a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilmember Kaminsky.
Yes.
Councilmember Hess.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Crossman.
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson.
Yes.
Councilmember Blair.
No.
Motion carries. Thank you, council. We have finished all the new business. Moving on to old business. There is none scheduled. Moving on to standing council member, moving to standing council committee reports, starting with public safety committee.
Because our city has such good firewalls, I can't get my notes up that I sent to myself, so. If you know of anything else, please, you can do it afterwards, but actually, it was kind of a short meeting. We talked more about the new radar sign is now here. It is on Collins, and then they moved the one that was on Collins over to Crystal Springs, and there's still one on West. They're going to be moving forward with a new report management system, which will help the officers, because I guess right now when they're doing a report and they're doing the narrative, it's two different places and it doesn't pre-populate. This new system will assist with that. And yeah, sorry.
Councilmember Crossman.
On that sign, the radar sign and what have you, does it track anything? No, okay, it's just.
There's data on there.
There is
The ability to get
data.
data, but not, doesn't take a license plate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, the data of how many are exceeding the speed,
I believe
how many.
it has the ability to do that. It's a
Said it did, yeah.
software that you pay for yearly. You don't have to have it.
Are we doing that and get that report in the next year? Okay.
Yeah, you said, and I can, yeah, I'll make sure.
It should be a high score. It should be a high score.
Cuts off.
I would think so. I mean, I would like, I bet.
And everybody's dying to hear this, the passports, 83 passports last month for a revenue of $2,950. Also, the traffic stops are up quite a bit. So the new patrol officers are out there. And, keep in mind when they pull people over, it doesn't, most of these are not resulting in an arrest, but sometimes, they pull people over and maybe they have a warrant or something. So they're out there working hard. So that's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Public Services Committee.
For us, no meeting since the last report.
Okay. Finance Committee. Richard. All right. Moving on to Mayor, City Minister, staff reports. The only thing I want to address is first, thank you for all the citizens that came out today. On both sides of the aisle, I appreciate that, or both sides of the issue, I suppose, not the aisle. The one thing I do want to say is that it is hard and difficult for whether I agree personally with a certain event, the morality, the whatever, personally, how I feel about it, we do have to treat everyone equally. And so whether or not it's, as long as they follow the RCWs, our own local regulations, they don't break any of those, then whatever group wants to rent the community center for their own private use is allowed to do that. We will work with the event organizer to make sure that they do follow all the correct RCWs and everyone it's a safe area and there's all that. Scott, do you have a question for that?
I do.
Sure.
So the city don't think that they have a say-so in an age limit in this? If they don't, I'm gonna file a lawsuit against the city.
Sure. City of Yelm does not have any.
People that
Can they respond to you? You want me to respond to it or no?
wasn't done.
Okay, please continue.
There's no.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Anything else?
My question, Mayor?
If you ask me, sure.
I did ask you.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
The city of Yelm does not have any regulations which prohibit a certain performance. In addition, female and male impersonation is a form of artistic expression that is protected by the First Amendment. So under guidance from our legal department, our attorney, or city attorney, it is a legal event. You are more than welcome to, pursue legal actions.
Can we make an agreement, ma'am?
Hold on, this isn't an agreement.
It is an agreement. This is the city.
This is a meeting. This is a business meeting, sir.
It is a meeting. It's a people's meeting.
Again, you had your opportunity to speak.
I
Did you
did.
not?
Now I've asked you a question and you don't want to work on resolving this question.
Did I? This isn't.
So I'm saying, can we work a deal out? between the
Absolutely, you can
people
after the city council meeting.
Along with
Please
the.
don't interrupt the city council meeting, sir.
I'm not interrupting.
You are, sir. This isn't an back and forth. This isn't, you had an opportunity to
To
speak.
your benefit.
My benefit, absolutely, sir. All right,
We the people.
we the people.
You're not part of
All right, the other things that I had, the only other thing I had was that the legislative session is wrapping up here, should be finished here in the next couple of weeks. They have rolled out with all the budgets now. They passed most of them now in one house or the Senate, and they're going for concurrence right now. So we should see whether or not Yelm has the Yelm bypass in it, excuse me, the Yelm loop. So we are working on that, still fighting for that. Representative Barkis is fighting pretty hard, and he's pretty confident that we will be able to get it in the final agreement and transportation budget. And if that does happen, construction will start next year. Councilmember Hess.
Mayor, with the international, does it look like we might be able to do June as a city council retreat month?
Yeah, June's looking good. So thank you. Probably be the recommendation.
Pointing out, I don't know if you want to call it.
Sure.
It's a quick question, Mr. Mayor. Is there anything we can do as the people that help with the Yelm loop? Is there anything we can do to help influence the lawmakers to make this happen?
Sure.
That's my question.
Yeah, send messages to your representatives or local ones. Most likely you're in the second legislative district, somewhere in the 20th, but most likely the second Yelm proper is, and that's Representative Wilcox, Representative Barkis, and Senator McCune.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you want to send emails out to those folks saying this is important for the city of Yelm, you're more than welcome. Councilor Blair.
On that topic, I'd say our reps and senators are fully behind it. If you really want to try to push anything, it's go down there.
I will.
Thank you. Do what you can there.
Councilor Hess.
And just as I addressed last time when this issue came up at a previous meeting, if you want to do it for the public, city of Yelm, the Yelm and surrounding areas, all residents in this area, if you would not only write, because our legislative representatives, they're fighting for this. But you need to contact the governor, Department of Transportation, Washington, and when you discuss it with those two topics there, look at what's going on at I-90 in Washington 18. That construction, that project was brought up, developed, and everything after 510 loop was done, and they are already starting construction on it. So the question comes up, are they going to be supporting a community where more of their votes are at, i.e. King County, Snohomish County? Or are they going to support budget after budget after budget since 2015 of getting this Yelm loop completed? That's all I have to add to that.
Thank you, Brian. That well said.
All right, we have one last report from our Public Service Director, Cody Cole.
Just two things. You may have noticed in Central Business District down Main Street, old street lights are getting pulled out. So we pulled out the broken ones first. So two of those are out. The new street lights were going to go up today, but the weather this morning didn't cooperate. So we're going to try to put them tomorrow. You'll start seeing those going down the Main Street. Those are those new solar street lights similar to this, but they're decorative. The second thing is you'll notice there's a concrete cutting crew that's leveling the sidewalks on the other side of the CBD, on the other side of First Avenue. So if you see people out there cutting sidewalks, they're doing, our work to shave those trip hazards down. So there's less tripping in the rest of the Central Business District.
Questions, comments for him?
Are they filling in the grass, Cody?
Where at?
On the boulevards, part of it is like concrete and part of it's just like grass.
Oh, so there is, Intercity Transit, which I'm sure Councilmember Hess will talk about, has done some work on the bus stops, and they've added more actual pathways and walking on those bus stops. You're seeing bigger, but if that's what you're talking about, where they filled in the grass with actual sidewalk, right, asphalt.
It'll look better if it's all sidewalk.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Cole? All right, moving on to Councilmember reports. Councilmember Blair.
I don't have a report, but just want to address why everyone's here. Typically, an empty room, we do what we gotta do. All right. Again, I want to be very clear. No one hates anyone. All right. Donna, I may address someone specifically. I don't have any feeling that you're going to intentionally bring either a pedophile or anyone else into the community and expose children to them. I don't think that at all. You said, and I'm sure you do, background checks on everyone, make sure you're clear. If someone like that was to come in, I'm sure that you and the people you work with are gonna take them out as fast as I am. Let's just like chill a little bit. Understand everyone doesn't feel the same way about these things as we all do. One thing I do appreciate, that it's a ticketed event. My biggest issue was if it was an open thing and but it's not. Well, that really ends my problem with it. Personally, I wouldn't take my kid to one. It's not my business if someone else takes their kid to. Scott, I know you feel strongly the way you are. If you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do, that's fine. Fortunately, as the mayor said, with as it is right now, because it's a private ticketed event.
I'm speaking out
I know.
anger also, but not anger against this.
I know.
It's anger against the city of not taking the gonads to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We're looking out for the people,
I think,
including the event, but you're not looking out for the people. You're looking at the money and the money that it's gonna bring into the city. You're not looking at it for your children.
I am.
That's
I feel-
my only thing. I have nothing against them, that community, or to Donna herself at all. Did I say your name right? I'm sorry. I love everybody.
I know, hold on.
And I don't want to bring a bunch of hate to this town. This is where I live.
Just,
I love this place. I love everybody.
Is this Councilmember Blair's opportunity to speak?
just trying to calm you're good. I'm just trying to calm the air. And as I said, I hope everyone can just chill. We went through enough 2-3 years of everyone hating out of each other. And fighting, and arguing about anything possible. And just move past that. And me, you, we're not gonna agree on everything. It is what it is. There are certain things we're probably gonna have heated fights about, arguments about, but that doesn't mean I think any less of anyone as a person, and I would hope back and forth. But again, I appreciate that it's a ticketed event. Hope it goes well. And if there's any craziness, I'll be the first one out there taking them out.
Hey, Councilor Richardson.
Yeah, if you go, I'll go, you go. You're checking out. Really appreciate everybody being here. Went and spent time at the senior center. It's good. Had a good breakfast. Again, remind you, senior center is not just a place for seniors, it's a place for the community. And so thank you for everybody who showed up to go to the senior breakfast. It's helped raise funds there. And again, this is good, guys. I know it's not always pretty, and this is community, but it's good. So thank you all for showing up and having the courage to even speak and having the courage to be here to express those things. That's your right. That's your freedom. You gotta protect that freedom and right and express things.
Councilor Crossman.
Two things real quick. Number one, kind of to your comments I keep hearing. That community center is a money pit. It still is a money pit, even with auditing for events, it still is a money pit. So if you look at budgeting, you look at what it takes to run it, the city's not making a dime. They're losing money on it every year.
That way I meant it.
And secondly, it doesn't bring money to the city, it might bring money to people, but not to us. Planning Commission had a study session yesterday. Just so you guys are aware, because a lot of people don't pay attention to this stuff, since a lot of people in the room here, the state of Washington has these crazy ideas of how to handle housing that doesn't make physical sense. And so these issues will be coming up here within the next year or so with housing. So keep an eye on that, be aware of that, so you're not surprised. Because this has been talked about a lot. Some people get surprised, like, oh, all of a sudden, like, where does this come from? Well, it's been in the works for quite a while. So there's a lot of things, a lot of it which I disagree with, because being a businessman, it doesn't make fiscal sense, but that's the state that we live in, so, keep an eye on that, so you're not surprised of some of what's coming to Yelm here in the next couple of years. And planning commission is next Monday, I believe. 4 o'clock, so if you do build in Yelm, if you're an investor, check it out, don't watch it. Yeah, get a heads up of what's coming, because planning commission, building, council, codes, taxpayer dollars, it's all linked together.
Councilmember Smith.
I attended the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority meeting. I attended the TCOM meeting. Again, they're still looking for dispatchers. If anybody wants a job, it's a great, I'm gonna bring it up every time because they have good. Yeah, who wants a job? I attended Law and Justice Council. I also attended the Planning Commission study session where they discussed the Housing Action Plan, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming that is mandated, so yeah, would be worth your while. And also, I just wanted to say, I wanted to just, LaDonna, did want to ask a very quick question. You said that you were allowing children, are you making the parents purchase the tickets? I mean, a 12-year-old cannot come in. Okay. I just want to say what Josh said earlier. You and I've had this conversation. You know that I'm on a different page, but I respect what you do. And I respect, a lot of your events that you do. They bring, like the Mermaid Festival, love it. It's great. The people love it. So, but I think Josh stated it very well before that we cannot, it is the Constitution. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that, but thank you for clarifying that a 12-year-old cannot purchase a ticket. Okay.
Councilmember Hess.
Intercity Transit Authority, just to address the concrete that's being done at the bus stops. One of the studies that they found out during the pandemic that we had, and when they started getting it set up to protect the driver of entering through the back of the bus, that is why they're doing that. They're making those parking areas longer so that there's ADA accessibility to the bus, to the rear. In case you don't know it, Intercity Transit Authority, we are one of the very few in the state of Washington that has no fee bus fare. In other words, if you need to get on the bus and go somewhere, just get on the bus and go. But that's why they're extending those concrete at the bus stops, just to make it more ADA accessible. I just want to address the situation that's being brought up about the community center. And the way that I want to address it is I kept hearing morality. Here's my question for everybody to consider, whatever side you are on. If we're going to say morality in reference to the community center, which some people have said it's public space and that public space needs to be regulated. The question comes up, whose morality? The reason why I bring it up is because if you are Jewish, public community center is being utilized for Santa Claus and Christmas, that's against their morality. So we have to shut that down. You start shutting down events, and you better be prepared for when others from those outside groups start coming forward and saying, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. And pretty soon, all that community center can be used for is the chamber meeting, as long as they don't violate anybody's morality. Probably a town hall meeting, as long as we don't violate somebody's morality. Just be aware of it. No, sir. We're not.
I never said anything about closing it down.
You asked the city if we were going to put a limit on that because it is a public facility.
Regulation.
This is Councilmember Hess's turn to speak.
Well, don't put it in the memo.
You're not the one that I'm addressing on that one. There's others that said, you asked for an age limit be put on there. She has already addressed that. The parents must buy. So that means that the parents are sitting down and having that conversation with their children. Because if you disagree with that, then we need to go to the movie theater and put a security guard out there to make sure that under 18 does not go into an R-rated movie theater.
The city shouldn't commend or condemn it.
It's not being condemned by the city.
The city building, sure the shit isn't.
The city is not condemning it.
By putting it on the city building, you're not condemning it, Brian? Come on.
We're not condemning it.
There's some point
You're
of.
letting it be in there.
All right, hey, that's enough. Do you have a point?
Yes, my point is, just be aware of,
Where your heart is for your children.
be aware of that there's various groups out there that will start also realizing the power they have. They will use precedents. It's the bad actors we have to be aware of. That's all I have to say.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yeah, this month I have attended the public safety meeting. On April 6th, a child, Mayor Jasmine, hosted her ice cream event here, which I was in attendance for. I ate 2 ice creams and handed out the ice creams to her family. It was wonderful. I want to invite everyone in this room to lunch tomorrow. We hold community conversations once a month, and it's a more casual opportunity to speak with us. Here, we're here to conduct business. There are certain ways that we hold our meetings, and it's not something we make up. It's something that's set before us that we have to follow. And it's by the mayor's lead. So if you would like to talk with us, I'll be there tomorrow. You can talk to me and tell me what you think about the things going on in Yelm and what you would like to see changed and what you support. And when you talk about tax dollars and we the people, you're paying for me to sit right here. So I'm gonna listen to you if you do it in a polite and respectful way. And so I'll be at lunch tomorrow, April 12th at Kinjab with the mayor, the city administrator, the director, Colt, and hopefully all of you.
The director.
Councilmember, did you have a question? Councilmember Crossman?
Are you buying? You inviting? Oh, son. Yeah, you said I invite you to lunch. I was like, oh, all right.
I will save a seat for you. I hope you can join us.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
Now that there's no one left in the room to talk to.
Still more.
No, I just wanted to reiterate something that might have been lost in translation. LaDonna said at the very beginning, this is a G-rated show. I'm sure that's like general admission, whatever, so not too racy, that kind of thing is what I'm assuming. And also, your first inclination was to have an 18 and over show. That was your first instinct. And I think might have been maybe a little less controversial if it was an over 18 show for your first, time in the community center. So just kind of want to put that out, maybe not greater to peer pressure, but over 18 would have been certainly an adult acceptable.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been as controversial. So I just wanted to put that out there. And good luck with the show, and I have no other reports.
So I'm disappointed. I don't know if you can see him. All right.
Did you have a question for Councilmember Kaminsky?
Can I address the, foreman
No,
question?
no, it's for Councilmember Kaminsky's portion right now. We're at the very end of the meeting.
Okay,
You're more than welcome
I
to.
will address Kaminsky that you say it's not.
Absolutely. You have a
18 or
question?
over, and I understand it's not 18 or over, is that correct? Why can't I?
It was changed because I guess the public put pressure on you to change it.
Yes, I had a-
Lower age.
Can I?
No, I'm not done yet.
What was your question for?
I'm
Your
addressing
second question?
18 or over. Terry,
Sure. Councilmember
not
Kaminsky.
18 or over, and a 12-year-old can walk in and buy a ticket.
Yes. With their
Yeah, I
parents.
hear yes and a no.
I asked that specific question. I asked that
So
very.
I'm addressing Holly.
Again,
Very.
no, again, this is Councilmember Kaminsky's opportunity to speak. I understand you don't come to these council meetings, so I'm giving you a lot of leeway here, sir. But this is for,
I understand the levity that I've been given, but we have some controversy here now, needs to be straightened out.
I don't believe so, sir. She's finishing up her council report. You're asking about a different thing. Councilmember Kaminsky.
I'm asking about the age 18.
I was
being
just-
addressed.
It was initially 18 and over, and then with public pressure, LaDonna felt she had to change it to a lower age. And I'm saying it might have been less controversial if your first event was truly 18 and over. That was my thought.
What is the lower age?
Would you like to say the age, please?
Yeah. It's just open.
For people now to bring?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You don't even have an answer.
Okay, so this needs to be addressed, guys, before this meeting's closed.
This is a private event, sir. Go ahead, Councilmember Hess.
You addressed it already, sir. She stated that the parent must buy the ticket for any child that wants to attend, and said parent will be with said child. That is why during my comments, I commented that the parents on their own and having open communication with their children are taking them to an event. That is, and that is what you said, and that was said.
There will be no tickets bought at the door. They have to be bought online. So the parents will, if they have 5 kids that want to come, there's I have someone that has 5 children. Your children watches RuPaul Drag Race with their parents. They love it. They want to come and see a performance. And so that's their right. You can't take their right away to bring their children to a drag show. So I'm not going to take that right away from them. They have every right to bring their children.
Thank you,
They
LaDonna.
will purchase their tickets.
Thank you, LaDonna. Councilmember Kaminsky, is there any final thoughts on your council member report?
I have no other.
All right, moving on to the executive session. There is none scheduled. Councilmember Blair.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Go West. Aye.
Say no.
We're adjourned.
7:12. Meeting.